So it has been about 14 or 15 hours since the Packers' unfortunate start to the season, losing to the Minnesota Vikings. It was not the start I was hoping for. We all expected much better from the Packers. And now we are sitting at 0-1. The Vikings at 1-0. The Bears winning games. The Packers are currently at the bottom of the NFC North with the Lions. It is week 1, but it's not the outcome we were hoping for. And I want to go through and talk about what Aaron Rodgers had to say about some of these young receivers, because of course coming to this game, especially with Allen Lazard missing the game, we were wondering, can this young receiver core get things going, and can they do enough to allow this Packers offense to move the ball? Clearly that was not the case in these young receivers' first game of the entire season. The offensive line didn't hold up as well, so it wasn't just the receivers, but there's definitely some improvements to be made here. But I want to go through some quotes from Rodgers. But if you guys are new here, I put up Packers content daily. So subscribe if you want to see Packers news and all that kind of stuff. Also, if you haven't followed me on Twitter, Luke_Beller on Twitter. I'm starting to post more on there. When injuries happen and stuff like that, I'm posting there first before YouTube. So if you want to stay up to date as quickly as possible, you can follow me on Twitter. Luke_Beller over there on Twitter. So here is the first quote we have from Aaron Rodgers after the game when he sort of asks about his young wide receivers. He says this: there was going to be growing pains. The real football. It counts. It's different. There's nerves. I thought Christian ran a great route to start the game. He talked about it during the week. Do you really want to start off with a bomb shot? I said, yeah, what the blank? Why not? This kid can really fly. Let's give him a chance. I was teasing Patrick after the game that we got him. He said, yeah, I wasn't quite warmed up yet. We got to make those plays, but that's going to happen. It's the mental mistakes that we really got to clean up, and there was too many across the board. So Aaron Rodgers understands that these are young wide receivers in their first game ever in Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs. Their first game in the NFL, they just got drafted by the Packers. Christian Watson didn't play in the preseason, dealing with a knee injury, and they did give him that first play of the game. I talked about it yesterday in the reaction, recap video. That ball, oh my goodness. Christian Watson, props to Christian Watson. He got open. He burned Patrick Peterson on the first play of the game, so at least he got open. It would have been a touchdown if he caught that ball. He didn't. Rodgers understands these are young receivers. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to make mental errors, but they have to, build on this, get better as time goes on. And now the rust is off of all these players, not just the young receivers, the entire team in general. So hopefully coming into week 2 against the Chicago Bears, we can sort of have things more situated. So then we have the other quote I want to show you from Rodgers. The reporters asked, how did Christian respond after the drop? And Rodgers said, look, we've got to have patience with those guys. They are young. They haven't been in the fire. The patience will be thinner as the season goes on, but the expectation will be high. So we'll keep them accountable. But it's going to happen. There's going to be drops. Hate to see it on the first play, but it's a part of it. There are going to be drops throughout the season. So Rodgers was pretty understanding. Obviously, he's probably frustrated that was a drop. You never want that to happen. But he was pretty calm. He seemed to, just understand that these are young receivers here in Green Bay. He doesn't have Devontae Adams like he used to, who he can really rely on. He's going to have to build the chemistry with these guys as the season goes on. And it's only one game. This doesn't necessarily mean that the Packers wide receivers are going to struggle the rest of the year. We saw last year, week 1 versus the Vikings, or the Saints. The Packers only put up 3 points. Devontae only had 50 receiving yards. So this doesn't necessarily mean anything for the entire season. We'll see what happens next week. If the problems continue and they are consistent, then that's where we have some issues. But last year we saw week 1, the Packers get absolutely destroyed, worse than this year, 38-3 versus the Saints. And then in the next 7 games, they were dominating. So I want to read you a tweet here that I put over there on Twitter earlier this morning. And here's what it had to say. After the 38-3 week 1 loss last year, the Packers responded by winning the next 7 games in a row. The offense scored 3 points versus the Saints, then responded with 35, 30, and 27-point performances. Let's see how they respond after their loss to the Vikings. So next week, we will be facing off against the Chicago Bears on Sunday Night Football in Green Bay at Lambeau Field, which will be nice. Clearly, this game was in Minnesota. That clearly favors the Vikings a little bit. But, being at Lambeau Field, it's always nice to come home and to have the first game of the entire year at Lambeau Field. And we'll see how these young receivers respond. I do think the Vikings are a much better team overall than the Chicago Bears. The Bears did beat the 49ers 19-10. They struggled in the first half. Justin Fields picked things up in the second half. Their defense there was able to hold the 49ers and Trey Lance intact. It was a sort of weird game. It was super rainy. Lots of things were going down. But the Bears, they're coming off. They're 1-0. They're ready to go. They're probably ready to come in and once again and do things that people don't expect them to do, because I don't think many people predicted the 49ers to win that or the Bears to win the game versus the 49ers week 1. So we have to come in strong game 2, week 2. Just because we lost week 1, doesn't mean it's going to continue. We'll see how the Packers respond and how these young receivers respond. So hopefully throughout the year, they build that confidence with Rodgers. They have the rust knocked off, and hopefully Lazard will be back next week, and we'll see sort of what goes down for the Packers. But that is all I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, follow me on Twitter, Luke_Beller.